Hey guys, it's Jen, and I'm here with my wrap up for books 21 through 25 that I read in 2017. I cannot tell you guys, I am so far behind with these wrap ups. I've finished 45 books so far this year, and here I am wrapping up books 21 through 25. So I'm going to try to get these all caught up and get the videos edited and get them posted, but it might take me a while, so I guess watch out for those over the next week or two. So the 21st book that I read this year was In the Hands of the Goddess by Tamara Pierce. This is the second book in the Song of the Lioness series that follows Alana. I don't really want to go into a whole lot of detail for this book just because it's the second in the series, but if you're not familiar with the series, it follows Alana, who is a girl who wants to be a knight. Her brother Tom wants to be a sorcerer, so instead of being sent off to learn to be a lady, she decides to trade places with Tom because they're twins, and she cuts off all her hair and she goes to learn to be a knight. So this is just continuing on her story. She becomes a squire in this one and continues on her training to become a knight. But I really enjoyed this one. I gave it 5 out of 5. I liked it even more than I liked the first book, and they're just really quick reads and so enjoyable, and I'm so glad that I'm finally getting around to reading these. I'm definitely going to be reading more by Tamara Pierce. I've already finished this series, so in the next few wrap-ups you will see the rest of these books, but I can't wait to like read more of her books because these ones were just so good. I just have to figure out where to go to after these. But I'm definitely recommending this series to people. I've already recommended it to a few people. And I will be saving these books for my kids to read when they're older. My daughter is in kindergarten and she's actually been doing really well reading, so maybe in a couple of years she'll be ready for these. The 22nd thing that I read this year was just this little epilogue, We Can Be Mended by Veronica Roth. So it's just an epilogue to Allegiant, to the whole Divergent series, that just goes on to show how Thor gets on with his life after everything that happens in Allegiant. I don't think this was necessary. Like, I read this because I got it for free for pre-ordering Carve the Mark, but I don't think this was necessary for the series. It just, I don't know, I didn't personally need that closure, so I ended up giving this to a 2.5 out of 5. It was just not, like, I don't want to say much about it because then it will just, if you haven't read Allegiant, it will spoil the whole thing, because basically this is just about For's life, and it was okay, but I mean, it wasn't anything great that I felt like we really needed, so there's that. The 23rd book that I read this year was an audiobook, and that was The Magician's Land by Lev Grossman. This is the last book in his Magicians series, and I have to say I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 out of 5. I'm really gonna miss that series. I again don't want to say a whole lot about it because it's the final book. I don't want to spoil anything. Just know that Quentin is, I don't know why I like Quentin so much. He's just awkward and weird, and I guess I can really relate to that. And his biggest dream was always to like find some magical world like Narnia, and it actually happened for him. So is a series that I'm definitely recommending to people. I've already recommended it to a friend. He actually finished it before I did because I read the first book and I was like, okay. He was looking for recommendations. I'm like, you need to read this one. Hopefully I can get my husband to read it because I think he should also read it. But yeah, it is an amazing series that follows Quentin through his journey in becoming a magician, and then when he finishes school and just his life from there. But it was really good and I really enjoyed it. which is obvious because I gave it 5 out of 5. So yeah, that's a 5 out of 5 from me, and I'm so glad that I read this series. The next book that I read was Confess by Colleen Hoover, which was also an audiobook, I think. It was either an audiobook or an ebook. I can't remember at the moment. But I really enjoyed it. I haven't had the best luck with Colleen Hoover in the past. So I figured I would give her another try, and I really liked it. I gave it 4 out of 5. It was much better than my first book that I had read by her, which was Maybe Someday. But this one follows a girl who I cannot remember because it's been so long since I read it. I can't remember what her name is, but she has moved into a city and she needs a job, and she's walking by this building and sees a help wanted sign, and she comes to look, and then she gets a job. And it's an art gallery that a guy owns, pretty much, and what he does is people leave him confessions and he paints a picture that he feels will go with that confession, and then he sells them. And I thought it was really good. It's obvious it's a romance, and there's a lot of things that there's like a twist in there with the girl, that you would think would make him leave, but it doesn't. But I just thought it was really cute, and I was happy to see the characters get what they wanted. If I was going to recommend someone a contemporary that was like a quick, easy, nice read, it would probably be that one. I would probably add it into my recommendations. So if you're looking for a contemporary, give Confess a try. And the final book in this wrap-up, so the 25th book that I read this year, was Room by Emma Donoghue. I sort of everyone has read this book pretty much. This book is about a woman and her son. It is told from the boy's point of view. I think he is 5 years old, but yeah, so he's about the age of my daughter, and he and his mom was kidnapped when she was in university, by this man, and he put her in a room. So they live in the room, and it just shows how they live, and then they escape, and then what happens after, because obviously this boy has lived in this room his entire life. Like, he was born in it, he grew up in it, and his mom obviously wants to get out, and they manage to escape, and it just shows the struggles that he has adjusting and she has adjusting, has dealing, and what she has to deal with her son adjusting, because for the most part she wants to get back to her normal life, but I mean, the room is all he knows, and it was a really good story. I can see why they made it into a movie. I really want to watch the movie. It was on Netflix at some point, but I can't find it on Netflix anymore, so that kind of makes me a little bit sad. So I really need to get a hold of the movie and give that a watch, because I think it will be a really good one. It was a book that really makes you think, because these things actually do happen, and it's crazy, and I don't know. I gave it 4.5 out of 5. So I really enjoyed it. It was very unique to be told from the boy's point of view, and I think it made it more enjoyable than it would have been from the mother's point of view. But yeah, so those are the next 5 books that I read this year. Let me know down below if you've read any of them and what you thought, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!